Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis on server 68. So today we're going to look at cultures. A lot of people don't fully understand what goes into deciding about a culture, but basically there's a couple things. You have to look at right here. So this is obviously where you pick culture. I'll just circle that for everybody. So you go on the keep. Some people actually, when you start the game, don't know that you can change cultures. I actually didn't think that either for a little while. I chose Korean because I liked archers. And I was like, I think archers are going to be really good in battle. So I picked them. And then I built some archers. And then I was like, well, I got too many archers to change. I'm not changing, and I'm not paying 2,000 gems to change. So I just stuck with Korea for a while. It actually turned out it was one of the better cultures to have, especially early in the game. But the things that you have to look at is, so you got to look at these three skills here first. So we can look at Korea because that's the one I chose. And the reason I chose it was for this divine weapon, 5% range attack. And then it comes with lumber, which you need to build archers, and then healing speed. So you look at Europe, you got stone production, mounted troop attack, march speed monsters. So this one, if you just look here, you kind of miss out on one of the best parts of Europe. Right? You're looking at this and you're like, oh yeah, this will be good for bosses, right? Because it has mounted attack and speed. So I'll use it to attack monsters. But you're missing out on some key things. So China. If you looked at this, you'd be like, oh, wow, my troops can carry a lot, and it helps ground troops and science. So that's cool, but it's not the best culture for research, for science. There's something else that goes into all of this, and it's probably more important. Japan, good for ground troop defense, right? And make food and crafting equipment. Nothing really stands out here as important. And then Korea, one thing that is important on Korea here for ranged troop attack, and we're going to get into the next part after, is that this ranged troop attack will work on offense and defense. So that is actually important. Ground troop defense as well will work on both. And America, if you looked at this, you'd say, oh, wow, this is great for training speed, but it's not the best culture for training speed. This is just one small part. And over here, Russia, I don't even know what you would think this would be good at if you just chose this as your keep. Mounted troop defense, okay. Maybe it's kind of good for attacking bosses, I'm not sure. And then Arab, this is good for gathering gems. Do people actually do that? I do see lots of people gather gems with their alts, and I'm not sure why. Because gems are so easy to come by in the game, and they take so long to gather, to farm. And you could just be grabbing resources. And then everything else, so it's good at building prestige, going up in the ranking. So all of this is actually not why you should choose cultures. Like, in all honesty, when I change cultures, nothing here is why I change. There's nothing on here that's important to me, except for this one, bonus offering for Arab. This is actually the only time I change cultures for something that's listed up here. Everything else, you have to look at your subsidies. So when you change cultures, you also get their subsidy. So this is where you're going to get the most important thing. So this first city right here, the purple one, right here, this is my natural subsidy, I guess. The first one that you get. It stays with you all game. No one can take it from you. It's right up here. It stays there all game. You get a general with it. I got Spartacus. So lucky when I started. Anyways, let's look into it. So if you hit preview at the bottom, you can see all of them. So Europe, the best thing about the European culture is not the mounted troop attack. It's this, added construction speed. And let's just go to purple because most people have purple or blue. So actually we'll go to blue because most people who would be watching this will be beginners. So you'll get 9% extra construction speed. And then over here, the next one, a little bit extra experience from killing monsters. And then these two over here, training speed and death into survival. those come the same on every single city. So let's look at the next one, China. You see, war tactics and subordinate city training. Those come from on every single city. And we'll keep looking. They are the exact same. They don't change. So war tactics, I get my own war tactics from Warzilla in my alliance. One of the true great all-time players. Dominated Server 68 for 5 or 6 years before we merged, actually. So here, China. This one is good for two things. Main city resource production. So if you just have a city that only joins rallies, it doesn't go out and farm, doesn't gather at all, this is good for that. So if you just have a rally city, you're going to get extra production while you sit there. But also, you can train troops 6% faster. And if you go back into here, 6%, right? If we go back into here and we look at what city is it that says it trains troops? America, 3%. So China's actually better than America's normal speed. This game, it's not straightforward. So we go over here, Japan. Research factory, which isn't that important, but the important thing here is main city troop attack, 6%. And if you up this to purple, or if you're lucky enough to get an epic, you get 10%. So this only works on attack, whereas you could put on archers and get 5% on both attack and defense. So something to consider. I'm actually sort of thinking out in my mind that if I were to maybe go into battlefield with Russian instead of, I think it's Russian, let's check it out, instead of Japan, no, not Russia, right here, America, I'd get siege attack, 5%, both offense and defense, and siege is important on two-way troops. So it is something to think about. I actually choose Japan because I do like that it's attack, but also because I like the avatars they give. It's actually the main reason I never chose Russia. I don't like any of the avatars on there. So Korea, this one actually is awesome. So main city warehouse capacity, that's not the important part, but this one, this adds up. 9% extra resources from gathering. That's why you see lots of people really want those Korean subs on their alt cities. America, this is the best one for this gold stuff. Doesn't matter. It's all about this research speed. So with the new military academy, man, things have 250, 500, 150 days per research. You change over to this, you save almost 10%, and that's just on blue. Mine is actually epic, so I save 15%, so it really helps. Russia helps with trap attack, but also in-city troop attack, 6%, so really increases over there. And Arabia, if you somehow get zeroed, if your bubble drops and someone rallies you, gets you down, or even if you're just in battlefield and want to heal your troops because you're making a run at 1-3 or something, you could throw Arabia on for a couple seconds. 2,000 gems to change cultures and then 2,000 to change it back is nothing if it's going to save you hundreds or thousands of days in healing. And that is it. So keep this in mind when you're changing cultures. Think of what sub you're going to get, not the 3 skills at the top. And it's worth it. Trust me, 2,000, 4,000 gems, change back. You're going to save hundreds of days each time. So I do this on the first day of consuming event. I always change over to Europe right away and I throw down my builds. And I have the epic. So right there, I save 15%. Boom, done. And when you're talking about things now, like I think my next keep level is something like 7,000 days. I get to knock 15% off of that. That's like 1,200 days. That is very much worth 4,000 gems. So keep that in mind. Don't be cheap on those gems. And look into what sub-city you're going to get when changing cultures. This is Genghis Server 68. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.